Hello! He's doing a thing! I'm Josh.
Dale.
I'm somebody.
Well, somebody is doing a thing over here.
I'm trying to recollect my mind because this year has been garbage.
Yes, we're going to be talking about, we're basically going to be reviewing the year 2020, although technically this video is probably going to wind up on the channel in 2021.
Well, you wouldn't want to review a year before it's completely over, even though there's technically, 5 days left in the year?
As of this recording, just a handful of days left. But, unless something amazing happens, I think our opinion is pretty secure.
Yeah.
This year.
Anyway, Devin couldn't make it. He is on because of an employee at work in his station coming down with the current trendy virus.
Just sad. What do we care about the algorithm?
Yeah.
It could destroy you. Anyway, the pandemic. But because of that, he was forced into quarantine because he was in contact. That technically ends tomorrow, so he couldn't be here today, legally.
Yes. And the last 2 weeks, my wife tested positive, so we were in quarantine.
And, we're going to get to that when we review the whole year thing. So how do we want to start? Do we want to talk about
let's just talk about the virus.
The big headline of the year.
Oh, yeah.
So in what year, in what other year could UFOs and murder hornets not be news?
I know, they were completely drowned out. Murder hornets, that was like an amazing... They were worse than killer bees. They are murder hornets.
But they were just a blip on the news compared to everything else.
Compared to this virus.
Between the virus and Donald Trump.
Yeah. Let's just not talk about Trump.
We're going to avoid... This is the last we're going to do any politics in this discussion.
Yeah.
Apart from just saying that whole mess, no matter where you stand on it, was a dumpster fire.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
So, no more politics.
Ugh.
Back to the pandemic. Now, Mom and I are convinced that we had it back in January before we even heard of what this thing was. It seems to have all the pieces fit in. But it basically was the worst flu I ever had.
Now see, my wife, basically what caused her to get tested was she had lost all sense of taste and smell.
Mm-hmm.
And she tested positive, and other than like a little lethargic and some very, very small fever, she wasn't hit.
Your mileage varies.
Me, I was, for about 3 days, hit like a sledgehammer. The first day that we think I had it, I tested negative, but...
You could have gotten it after...
Or we think it was a false negative, because I got tested like the day after she got tested. And that day that I got tested, I had like it was almost 101 degree fever, and I slept like 16 hours that day. And the next day wasn't much better, but...
And apart from the actual catching it thing, it's had all the impact on the world around us, and 2020 sucked. I miss dining out, I miss movie theaters, I miss...
Wrestling shows.
They got their act together and started
Yeah,
seeing
but I
it.
miss going to the indie shows.
Oh, actually going, yeah.
Yeah. Because I was a follower of an indie promotion down in Marietta, Remix. I followed them really regularly, and I mean, it sucks. Like, big thing with this coronavirus is it is destroying the small business, because Walmart. Even if Walmart had to shut down, Walmart could survive shutting down for 3 months.
For a while, yeah.
Steve's Diner and, Joe's Pawn Shop, they can't survive these lockdowns we keep having. I mean, it's just...
And whether they want to admit it or not, the small businesses are the backbone.
Oh, yeah. Well,
the big ones will collapse when the small ones go away eventually.
Well, people talk about like how they want to protect these small businesses, and I understand that, public safety and all that, but man, these little businesses are getting eaten alive.
In my personal opinion, and coming from someone who believes they had it. Maybe not. Never officially got tested. But for someone who believes they had it, I think they've blown this way out of proportion. It's a terrible thing, and it's like a, 1% chance of death?
Yeah, but I mean, you think about it, if you've got elderly...
Right.
I mean, there's people, and once again, the crazy thing about it is how unpredictable it is.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my wife's a few years younger than me, and we're both in good health, and like, it didn't touch her. The kids had zero symptoms whatsoever. No fever, no... But man...
If they had it, they encountered no symptoms.
I would almost certainly have to have if me and my wife had it. They've been here in the house with us for 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, one would think, but...
People are asymptomatic, and that's one of the scary things about it, and why we all really should be wearing our masks when we're in public, is if you're asymptomatic, you could give it to people by being a fucking Karen and demanding you can't wear your mask, but... I
have no fear of getting it or passing it on to anyone, because I'm convinced I already had it. But I still wear the mask in public, one, because it's the law, and two, I want other people to feel safe.
Exactly, and also you want to be a good...
Set a good example.
Because, they say, you can't get it for 3 months after you've had it. My wife has had it, but she still wears her mask in public because she doesn't want people to, you don't want to be that person, Just... And the other reason I think we need to wear masks is if we don't wear masks, the government is going to shut us down. We need... I'm just going to open politically. I am an anarcho-libertarian. I'm an actual real libertarian, not a conservative who doesn't like being called a conservative. I'm a full... But as a libertarian, we need to prove to the government that we can manage ourselves. So wear your fucking mask. That's not even political. That's just good sense. People are...
Yeah, common sense.
People are dying from this,
Yeah, it takes so little effort just to put one on.
Just to put one... And it's not like... Because I can't wear those strap masks. They pull my ears and give me a migraine. I wear a gaiter. I probably should.
It's why I wear the mask I wear, because it works differently.
I'm going to turn it inside out so you can't see the corporate logo on it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. No, I actually find these work real well. You just pull them, you put them around your neck and you pull them up and they don't yank on your ears like a surgical mask does.
It's like mine, it has little loops that you just fit your ears through, and it works differently, but it's still got a mask.
Same here. Pulling on the ears doesn't bother me, but I've got a gaiter that I wear at work. Because they insist we wear one in case somebody comes in.
Oh, I mean, if you're asymptomatic, you don't want to give it to somebody. It's like I said, Courtney was almost asymptomatic, so...
Yeah, I wear mine at work until I'm up at the split stand where I'm like up on this high crow's nest, not around anyone.
Yeah.
It's like, who am I going to infect? And I need to breathe. So.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. So after this disease, let's talk about these UFOs that, I don't know, I am skeptical about these alleged UFO documents that got leaked from the whatever government.
My stance is this. I hear about the possibilities of aliens, UFOs and aliens, and I'm like, ooh, that sounds awesome. I want that to be true.
Alright. Well, I have this. Like, people talk about the alien in Roswell.
Okay.
So this alien's been here for however long. Why haven't his friends or his government or whatever come to collect his body?
Turns out he was a bit of a loser and no one cared.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it turns out that he didn't crash. His spaceship was sabotaged because they just wanted to get rid of him.
Yeah, or he's just went completely unnoticed because he was a nobody.
Yeah,
He's just some random tourist from the universe.
I'm of the belief that Earth is being ignored by the rest of the universe.
we're at that stage right now that they are watching us and it's like, we don't want them involved with the galactic government, at least right now. Let these guys develop more. Let's see if they actually get to a point that we want to get involved with them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know,
Let's make sure they don't wipe themselves out.
Well, they don't even have to do that. They wipe themselves off, then free planet. You know.
Well, it's, what is it, the Star Trek, the Prime Directive. Don't get involved in more primitive civilizations.
That's a monkey with a flamethrower situation. You're not ready. Don't give the monkey the flamethrower. It might be adorable, but it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Well, if you believe the ancient alien theories, they've already gotten involved by genetically creating us.
It turned out to be a big mistake. Huh?
Yeah, right. Good job, aliens. Look what you did.
I
hope you're proud of your creation.
I actually am personally offended by the idea of ancient aliens. What? We couldn't do anything ourselves?
Well, and it's amazing how many of these ancient alien myths are, Stonehenge obvious exception, but how many of them are Africa and Native American?
Yeah.
It's like,
they built the pyramids.
Ooh, these non-Europeans couldn't possibly have done this. Fuck you guys.
I guess the aliens just knew that white was better. Oh, no, that's not right.
Well, they're like, it's like, well, all these different people built pyramids. Yes, I know. It's almost like things that are wider at the base and smaller at the top are structurally sound.
And how'd they figure out how to do this? I don't know. Can you do math?
Can you stack rocks?
I was like, have they, in these ancient alien series, have they talked about the Incans? They talked about the Peruvians?
I don't know.
Because the Nazca lines are on the level of crop circles, but they've proven that they had this like special counting necklace.
Oh yeah.
And it's like the Nazca lines are absolutely mathematical.
That is amazing. I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know about
They had a necklace that had different length things, and so that's how they kept count of stuff.
That's crazy.
So they measured exact like feet. Well, they used different measurements.
Yeah.
That's how they did the Nazca lines with the animals perfectly by laying.
And for those of you who don't know, you really need to look up the Nazca lines. They are amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Kept up after all these years, and Greenpeace really got it. Because there was a person from Greenpeace who actually did something to ruin one of the lines.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice.
In one of their they moved one or two of the rocks for some message they were going to try to make. Yeah. No.
You know, I wonder how many of those Nazca lines have been ruined by time.
Probably a lot, and probably restored, because they knew what it's supposed to look like, and they're like, "What?"
Well, I wonder how if there are any of the Nazca line creations that have just been lost.
There's probably a couple. I mean,
Probably not.
A lot of them.
The Nazca Desert, there's hardly any wind or rain. You scrape it away, so you expose.
That's
the
probably why
underneath
most
Some of them are still intact.
It's probably why most of them are
they-
intact.
But I wonder, like, maybe if like a tornado came through at some point or something, and like just wiped a huge swath of one.
Or a whole bunch of animals.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know. Oh, and of course, stupid man.
Yeah.
Over the years, stupid men could ruin stuff.
People are the worst.
People are the worst. And of course, when I
People
said
are no damn
stupid
good.
man, I meant that as human, not by a specific gender.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted.
That's another thing about this year that's really gone off the rails.
Oh.
Go on.
Well, everybody, it's like you can't say anything you used to say without offending someone.
It's not specific to this year, but there have been some cases that have been pretty bad this year about that sort of thing.
Yeah, this year it just seems to
Cancel
have
culture is the worst.
increased.
Well, like we were talking before, wokeness has killed comedy, and not just the way you people people think, or it's like, oh, comedians can't say anything. The problem is, edgy comedians have gotten bad. Like, it's like, I'm just gonna offend everybody. Here's just a list of offensive things without any context, just to offend people. I'm like, well, that's not funny either. All you're doing is pushing people out of the middle ground of being willing to say stuff without having.
I think that's what a lot of this wokeness has done. It's just pushed people out of the middle and made the extremes.
Yes.
And, yeah, that's bad.
Because, like, I've heard people complain, it's like, woke culture makes it so you can't joke about anything. But the problem is the people who want to joke about things are just at the point where they are just trying so hard to piss off cancel culture that they're not funny. And I'm like, I want to cancel you not because you're offensive, but because you're just not funny.
Yeah. It's like the really funny people. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Dave Chappelle.
Uh-huh.
But when a lot of this got started, he made a special on Netflix, which was just him doing his regular set, looking at the world and making fun of it. And of course, they tried to cancel him, but he wasn't, and failed.
Yeah,
but
of course.
But he didn't. He wasn't going out of his way to be offensive. He was just being Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, and like I said, I've never been a fan of Dave Chappelle. I've never been a fan of, like, that shock humor, honestly. And not necessarily shock humor, but that very aggressively vulgar, I think would be a good... I don't know. It's hard to describe what I'm trying to say, but...
But definitely, when you are worse than Dave Chappelle in offensive level and think that makes you funny, you're wrong. It's like that... Dave Chappelle, I think, is the barrier.
That's good, man. Like I said, I'm not a fan, but I also don't believe in censorship, so I just choose not to. Because I didn't see the special that everybody's talking about. I think it's called Sticks and Stones.
Probably like that.
But I haven't seen it because I don't like. Why would I watch it if I don't like Dave Chappelle to begin with? I'm not gonna. Okay,
South Park.
Yeah. I actually just want to bring this up.
Yeah.
Why do people... It's like, I can't stand this bit of media, so I'm going to consume another bit of it. If you don't like it, stop watching it.
No, they're zealots. They have to see it destroyed.
But they're not if they're watching it.
I know.
You're just giving them ratings.
And then we're going to complain about it, which draws more attention to it.
Yeah.
You're Streisand affecting them.
I mean, yeah, you are. That's exactly it.
It's like the whole idea was, people didn't like Barbara Streisand. Then they complained about Barbara Streisand, and people paid more attention to Barbara Streisand.
Well, okay, yeah, I'll talk. The new Star Wars trilogy. What was the first one?
The Force Awakens.
Oh, I fucking hated Force Awakens. It's a terrible movie. Blah, blah, blah. Here's my list of complaints that may or may not be valid, but I don't care. I hate it. And then the second one came out, which was...
The Last Jedi.
Last Jedi. So you watched it. Why did you watch it? You know it's just going to be exactly like The Last Jedi. But okay, fine. And then the third one came out, Rise of Skywalker. And you watched it. Why did you watch it? You hated the first two. What possible brain hemorrhage do you have that would say, no, this one will be the one that I
heard some people's argument for why they watched all three. It's dumb, but I kind of get it. They are self-professed critics, so that it is their job to watch it.
But if it's not created for you, you're not a proper critic. It's why I don't do reviews of romantic comedies. They're not for me. A good romantic comedy is lost on me. Why would I review it? It doesn't make sense.
Exactly. This is the argument that they used themselves when people had a problem with A Wrinkle in Time. The Wrinkle in Time movie, where they had critic journalists were like, it really wasn't that good a movie. Well, it wasn't made for you. It's like, I don't need some middle-aged white guy telling me what to think. It's like, yeah, but it was his job to do so. It's like,
well, I mean, if you're getting paid to watch it, that's obviously a thing. But like, I just don't get these people that consume media. Okay, like I said, I think there was a romantic comedy that was released not too long ago called like The Lonely Hearts Gallery or something, where somebody made art based on their failed relationships.
All right.
I don't like comedies in general, but I especially don't like romantic comedies.
Okay.
Why would I watch that when the New Mutants was released at the same time?
Oh, I wanted so much to see.
I didn't get a chance to watch New Mutants either. But you see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's not like you have to watch this thing that wasn't meant for you.
I'm just saying, they use that argument, and that argument can also be used against them.
Yeah.
But I guarantee they get super offended if you use that argument against them.
I'll probably. Well, it's like if I personally hated Man of Steel, but I'm a Superman fan. I'm an action movie fan. I'm a comic book fan. The movie was meant for me.
Yeah.
I hated it. I feel like my hatred of it is valid because I can tell you all the reasons I hated it. First and foremost being, the Superman in that movie is not the kind of person who would stop what he was doing to give a hug to a suicidal girl like an All-Star Superman.
Is it?
That's not the character. That's Superman is a paragon of good, and that Superman in that movie was not the.
Is it just me, but in the last, 17 years, they've really wanted Superman to be evil?
Yeah, wow.
For some reason.
What? Nice, refreshing storyline change. What if Superman was actually good?
Well, that's what All-Star Superman was. And
That's what Shazam was.
Yeah, that is what
Yeah,
Shazam
come
was.
on.
And by the way, Shazam was a far superior movie.
That was a far superior movie.
Oh, yeah.
Shazam was probably the second best DCEU movie. I have not seen Birds of Prey nor Wonder Woman 84, so...
You're not missing a lot.
Have you seen 84?
No, I've heard about 84. I have seen Birds of Prey, though.
Yeah.
I've heard some things about 84. The more reviews I hear, the more of a mixed bag I'm getting. But at first, I heard bad things.
I've seen very mixed things. I've seen very average things about 84, but I will judge for myself when I see it. I don't take stock into other people's opinions for the reason I've been ranting about, that people purposely consume media they know they'll hate for, it seems, for no other reason than to put winch fests on the internet.
A lot. It was like, at first I was hearing reviews that it was a very anti-Trump movie.
Oh. But
Then
it takes
I've
place in 1984.
Trump existed. But, anyway, the real villain of 84 is Maxwell Lord.
Yeah.
Maxwell Lord. Who they said was Trumpish. A more recent review, and I'm more inclined to believe this one, they said he is painted more like an evangelist or a Tony Robbins inspirational person rather than Trump. I'm more inclined to believe that. They were big in the 80s.
Well, the issue is every rich villain this day, any villain you write in media that is rich is immediately a Trump parallel, whether he is or not. I've heard people say that Lex Luthor is a Trump parallel.
Yeah.
Lex Luthor was an evil real estate evil millionaire who ran for president before Trump. Trump is a Lex Luthor.
Yeah. It doesn't help that when you really look at Trump's personality, he basically is the personification of every 80s wealthy villain in these movies anyway.
Yeah, right.
He basically is that wealthy antagonist from all the 80s movies. That's just how he is.
Yeah.
Doesn't inherently make him evil, but he is the rich douchebag you want to see punished.
But, have there been a whole lot of really good film releases in 2020?
Sonic the Hedgehog.
I haven't seen
Yeah.
it.
I
would say
really like the Sonic movie.
I can actually say something positive about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie where people had a legit complaint and the studio actually listened and fixed it.
Mm-hmm. They changed the look, and that was legitimate, and the movie felt...
The original design for Sonic was awful.
That was nightmare
Oh
fuel.
my god. Who okayed that?
Yeah. Okay, so what else happened in 2020 that we can say is
Say bad?
bad, good, whatever?
Somebody tried to murder Johnny Bravo.
Oh yeah, wrestling. Yeah.
I started watching Impact again in 2020.
Turns out apparently it was a hypnotized Larry D.
It was Lawrence D. Larry D was innocent. Lawrence D.
Yes, because of the weird, like,
The
he
ring
smells
rust.
the ring rust perfume and he gets
He
changes.
gets turned into like a
It's like, it's all crazy. Rosemary wasn't interested in him except, Johnny Bravo, except for the virgin blood.
because virgin blood is strongest on the virgin's wedding night.
Yes, and virgin blood is highly valued anyway in the world of the occult.
Yes. I got to see the resurrection of Father James Mitchell.
Mm-hmm. 2020, other good thing, moved into my new house in January. I'll be filming my house-iversary and this, I guess technically this month, because this video will be posted in January.
Well, I can say something bad about 2020, which was on Christmas, while I was ending the last day of my quarantine, I had a power outage in the middle of winter for 5 hours. No heat. I live out in the country, meaning I have an electric water pump. No water, no heat, no power on Christmas. It was funny because so the kids got up, we did our Christmas thing, and then we all took a nap because we were all tired because everybody woke up at 4 in the morning. It's about 9, and me and the kids wake up, and I'm literally getting out of bed, and everything shuts off, and my reaction was, why not? Just why not? Just fuck it at this point. Fuck this year. Fuck everything.
Now, I'm well aware that when the ball drops, some of these problems are not going to magically disappear, but a good deal of them are going to be done.
Well, the problem is just 2020 has been this collection of just continuously building crap.
And it's a chance to vent some of that off. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
we're going to be building up from the bad, but, yeah.
Right.
Phew.
Oh man, it's just been nuts. Because like I said, the disease isn't going anywhere in 20. But hey,
Not for a while.
Hey, we've got vaccines or immunization. Yeah, vaccines coming out. We're learning more about it.
Some of the stuff's calming down. If you're a conspiracy nut, you might say that, certain things happen politically, and so now now they can drop the facade, and it's not because this isn't actually real. I don't believe that for a second. I think sure it was used politically.
Of course it was. But everything's used politically.
But it was
especially
real.
nowadays.
But yes, it's absolutely real.
Oh, of course it is. I also don't believe it was made in a laboratory.
No.
People are like, it was made in a laboratory. I'm like, why? There are deadlier and more contagious diseases we've had for decades. Why would... I'm not saying coronavirus isn't dangerous. I'm just saying that if somebody wanted to release a biological weapon, there are mutant strains of smallpox that would do far, far worse than corona would.
Yeah. I don't know.
Unless they were saying that they wanted something that people could control.
But we
Oh, good
haven't
job.
been able to control it.
Good job there.
Yeah, right? It's so too contagious to be controlled. Hey, I did see something funny happen. It's this video that's going around and it's being memeified with the Twisted Tea, where this racist asshole is just harassing this person of color. The dude didn't look black to me, so I would guess mixed or Hispanic. He looked Hispanic to me. I don't know, and I'm not presuming.
You can't reason with these types of minds.
But this guy was just N-word, N-word, N-word. The dude started to throw a kick, and this guy had a can of Twisted Tea in his hand and busted this dude across the head. I had this great meme where it said a new concealed carry license, and the guy had a pistol case with a can of Twisted Tea in it. But I don't know. It's always funny when racist assholes... You know what? When any kind of asshole gets their teeth knocked in deservedly, you know?
As a culture, I think we enjoy it when jerks get what's coming to them.
Exactly.
We
Isn't
are
that
geared to love karma.
Yes.
Isn't that like the entire theme of every 80s sports movie? Was the assholes got what was coming to them at the end?
Yeah, and usually the assholes have every right to be so because they have been so successful and good. And
But
this
hey,
underdog team that really has no business beating them skill-wise actually just winds up doing so. But yeah,
fans love an underdog, which I believe at the end of the pre-match phase allows you to draw 2 cards if you have less.
you absolutely made a Raw Deal card game reference.
Yes, I
There
did.
you go.
When people don't know what the Raw Deal card game was.
Someone out there might.
Someone. Well, yeah, it was the WWE card game.
Yes.
Anyway, yes. Fans love an underdog. Which did that thing you just said.
I think. It was one of those weird ones. It might have been
Yeah.
one that increased your hand size.
Yeah, it was something.